Find Haunt Squad on all your favorite social media sites. Facebook.com/Haunt Squad. Twitter @Haunt Squad. Instagram at Instagram.com/Haunt_Squad. And search us on YouTube. Haunt Squad.
Take me away! Take me away!
Sheila, what is it? What's wrong?
It's the house. Whatever's inside, it's horrible.
In a world filled with supernatural phenomena, 3 explorers of the unknown answer the real questions concerning the field of paranormal investigation. Vinny Gomez, Natalie Jane, and Mike Wolfer guide you to the depths of paranormal studies, creepy movies, games, and comics, and more from the world of horror and geek culture. Turn out the lights, turn on your EMF detector, and prepare yourself for the Haunt Squad podcast.
I'm Vincent Price, and you're invited to my party, where so far the ghosts have murdered only 7 people. So won't you come and make it 8? You'll see human heads without bodies, mysterious pools of blood dripping from the ceiling. The walls move slowly in against you. The ghosts are waiting, so won't you join me? Hooray! Or you'll be late for your own funeral.
Hey! Hey!
And we're Haunt Squad,
Yes.
taking you through the paranormal and all other things, geek culture and comic book and horror and TV shows and all sorts of other stuff.
And Vinny's back.
Oh, I'm
Vinny's
back.
back.
Yes,
Yay.
I'm back from the dead.
We had trouble all getting together last week, so
Yeah, scheduling was just a little messed up. But
Natalie and I winged it. We had some fun up at the mansion,
We did.
all by ourselves.
I know. You're making me blush. Stop it.
No, it's not like that.
Not at all.
Oh, so how are you guys?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh, by the way, I'm Vinny,
I'm Mike.
I'm Natalie.
and we're Haunt Squad.
We're Haunt Squad.
Hey, and I was supposed to say taking you through the paranormal. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
That's
whatever.
okay. Hey,
But you know what?
We do what we want.
Yeah,
Because-
we don't have anything written down.
There's no rules.
I wish I could flack my pad in front of me. I can't do that. It'll just undo the typing that I did. So, we got, today is
TV, right?
TV.
There is so much on TV right now that's so cool.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the TV shows you were watching, and I threw down a couple that I was watching.
Oh,
and
good.
we have a smorgasbord
Yeah.
of TV shows.
You know what? First thing we need to talk about?
What?
Walking Dead.
Oh.
The mid-season finale. Guess what?
What?
If you haven't seen it, Glenn's dead. No,
He was
wait.
crushed by a dumpster.
Yeah, that was a big thing on social media
boy.
for like 4 weeks, right?
Oh, boy.
Ugh.
Pretty much close to it.
They even
yeah.
did it so that they would take his name out of the credits in the beginning of the show, too, which was pretty good.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
I liked what they did. A lot of people didn't like it, you know. A lot of people were pissed
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Well, they're just going to bring him back. Well, what are you complaining about? You should be happy about
You
that.
can't please everyone. It's just the way of the world.
I thought it was cool, and they kept everything under wraps pretty well.
Yeah.
But we all knew he was coming back. We knew he was okay.
I didn't think for a second that they would kill him. Not like that anyway, not to leave you hanging.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. But we got some good stuff in that last episode. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
The walkers had broken into Alexandria.
that was crazy.
Yeah, it was chaos. All kinds of things happening. We've got the wolves. We finally got the first indication of, what are they called? The
Negan's
Saviors?
group, the
Saviors.
Saviors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we know where it's going, and it was a nice way to end before the hiatus. Keep people hanging. Mm-hmm. I can't even remember all the stuff that was going
You know
on.
what?
so
What
much.
was her name?
Deanna. There you
She
go.
went
Yeah.
out. She went out in a pretty cool way. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm going to die anyway. And she just went out screaming in a hail of gunfire.
I wasn't so sure about
liked
her
it.
throughout. Mm-hmm. But I guess that was good acting because she was playing someone who was in total control and had lost total control. Mm-hmm. And, man, she had a lot going on with her sons. And
God,
Right.
half her family was gone.
Yeah, losing
Yeah.
her husband. It seemed like she kind of made her peace before she
yeah.
left the world. So
Yeah, when the scene when she went in and was hanging over the crib.
I'm like, Judith, she wouldn't do that.
was awesome. And
That's good.
the way it ended, Mom.
I went onto
Mom.
Twitter and I said, "Shut the hell up, kid." So I didn't want to ruin it for anyone, but
What was it like, Stewie?
wrong.
Wait, Stewie. Is
Yes,
it?
Stewie.
Mom. Oh, God.
Mommy, mama, mom, mommy.
I mean, even Judith is keeping it together. And
Yeah,
this
really.
kid is just...
Really. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but you know what I think? Here's my fan theory.
Predictions.
I don't know why, but I have a feeling something's going to happen to Judith.
I don't know.
Crazy son with the gun who is after Coral. Man, Carl's got Judith strapped to him. Mm-hmm. And if that kid takes a shot at Carl, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Well, I mean, is Carl going to ever lose his eye like he did in the comic?
Mm-hmm.
Judith was essentially crushed by her mom when Laurie was shot.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. Could Carl's eye get shot out and he crushes Judith? I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know. I hope not. I'd like to see Judith grow up a little bit.
yeah.
And then get eaten.
Sure, whatever. I mean, after a certain age, it's fair game.
Exactly.
I don't want to see a baby get eaten.
What else are we watching? The Flash.
Yeah.
The Flash continues to be very entertaining.
Mm-hmm. I really enjoy the crossovers.
That was very cool.
Arrow. Mm-hmm.
It was fun. Legends of Tomorrow.
Right, that's coming
That looks to be pretty
January
cool.
21st.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this is coming from a Marvel guy.
Right? He's watching all these DC
I know.
shows. They're really good.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know. I don't know, but I tell you what, I've been watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, hell yeah.
I still can't get into it.
Oh, I love it.
I don't know what my problem is. There seems to be a lot of talking. The action is really cool when you get it.
Right.
It's just not clicking for me. This last episode, I didn't even watch it.
Yeah, it's just
It
more
was
like
on,
background
and I
noise
just
for me.
yeah. But you love it, right?
I am totally in. I'm totally in. Now they're back on the Blue Planet. Coulson went to the Blue Planet. So Ward took a bunch of people onto the Blue Planet to get this thing that's supposed to come back to Earth. It's some sort of inhuman, super inhuman. Oh. So yeah, it's getting big and
Is that the person that was creeping around while she was stranded on the planet?
that was
saw?
yeah, there was some monster. Yeah. And they killed off a character that I thought they were going to keep for a while.
Oh yeah, right.
So I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. Can't wait for the next season. For was it February when they come back? I think. I can't wait.
So getting back to Legends of Tomorrow, which we quickly just kind of dismissed.
Sorry.
I want to talk about the team, which is really cool. You have Hawkgirl, Hawkman, the Atom, White Canary, Firestorm, which will comprise of Jax and Professor Stein, Captain Cold, Heatwave, and Rip Hunter.
That's the
all
team. On it?
They're all on it, and
Holy
as a
crap.
reoccurring. Well, you have to have your villains. I don't know who all the villains are, but I know that Vandal Savage will be popping in and out. And he's a really cool villain. He's one of my favorite.
From
in
the
comics.
trailer, it looked like it was going to be centered around him, that he would be the main.
Will Hawkman and Hawkgirl have wings?
They do.
They do.
Okay, because every picture I've seen so far, they don't have any wings.
Well, that's really strange.
I don't know enough about the comics. I thought that the wings were visible all the time.
Yes,
I thought so too.
Okay, but on the show they can they sprout out and then they go back in.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's not easy to navigate
That's
through
not easy to hide
Walmart.
either.
You're knocking stuff over. And,
Well, they're kind of changing their origin in the show. It's different from the comic. I mean, in the comics, they're an alien race. They're
Right.
Thanagarians. So this is a little different, which is fine. It's still cool.
sure.
Are they from Earth in the show?
Yeah, like Egypt, ancient Egypt, right?
And they just keep reincarnating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it sounds to me that Hawkman, he usually remembers, whereas Shayera forgets that, who she is, and she has to be reminded and stuff. So
Hey, you know what else is cool? Into the Badlands.
that is kick-ass.
That's really cool.
I'm enjoying that very much.
Yeah, it's weird. It's very strange. It's in the future. Very bizarre. The martial arts are really cool. Basically, the premise of that show is you've got these barons that sort of have different territories, and they're warring or not warring or deciding to go to war against one another, and everybody wants everybody's land and their holdings, and each baron has their own Clippers, yeah, which are sort of their assassin teams. There's no guns. Everybody
Guns
uses
are outlawed.
swords and knives and shuriken and axes, and it's cool. It's bloody.
And it's in the future.
And it's in the future, yeah. But they still have cars and electricity and all that.
Yes.
It's cool stuff.
Yes.
But it's only, okay, let me get this straight. 6 episodes? Is that
I'm
what it
not
is?
sure. I only see episodes leading up until December, so this might be one of those seasons that's just 6 episodes. I'm not quite sure, but I do know that they're calling for other seasons. So
Okay. What else is on? There seems like there's so much. And there's a lot of new things coming up, too.
yeah, I'm totally excited. Sci-Fi is having a mini-series of Childhood's End.
Oh, yeah.
It's Arthur C. Clarke's novel.
Yeah.
I heard that it's supposed to be very close to the novel, so that's why I'm really excited about it. Just 3 days, December 14th, 15th, and 16th, 2-hour episodes.
6 hours total.
Yes.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah, and if you don't know anything about it, I'm not going to get all into it, but basically you have an alien race that comes to Earth, and they promise us no more war, no more hunger, and cures to all diseases, but it comes at a price, a very, very dear price. So that should be great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That's on, what channel is that?
Sci-Fi.
Sci-Fi.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that looks good. It also reminds me of that miniseries, V: The Final Battle. Do you remember seeing that back in the 80s?
Yes. Oh my God, the
I never
lizard
watched it.
people.
You never
It was
watched it?
great.
Yeah.
They were all lizards. And they ate people, but they promised friendship and cures and all that.
You know what? I was going to say that it sounds similar to maybe episodes of Twilight Zone, Outer Limits. Like that same story has been around a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To serve man. Oh, you know.
It's a cookbook.
This should be cool, though. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, you know what? I've been watching on Netflix the new Marvel series, Jessica Jones.
How's that?
It's good. It's really good.
I've been hearing good things
it's
about it.
really, really
Yeah.
good.
Equal
Yeah.
to Daredevil, would you say?
I would say right now, probably better.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, they're introducing a bunch of characters from the comic books. One of them being Luke Cage,
Right.
which the guy who's playing Luke Cage is exactly who I thought should play Luke Cage.
Oh, good.
unfortunately. Watch it. I'm telling you right now, if you have Netflix, grab it and watch it. It's phenomenal.
He's super strong, right?
Super strong, and nothing can hurt him.
You know who else is in there? I haven't watched it yet. Patsy Walker, who was Hellcat. It's freaking
okay.
awesome. You know,
Yep.
like this early
Oh,
70s
You're going to
character.
see her.
Is she... She's not in costume. She doesn't appear as a... Okay.
No.
Maybe
She's not a
next
redhead
season.
either.
She's what?
She's not a redhead either. She's blonde. But she's working to become Hellcat.
Oh, cool.
You can tell there's
Cool.
a lot of things she's doing.
Cool.
So yeah, and she just happens to be friends with Jessica Jones, and it's going to be cool. I can't wait.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The Walking Dead is back on Valentine's Day.
Ooh,
Yep.
just in time.
Yeah. It's going to be a good...
What a greater way to share love.
Heck
By
yeah.
watching zombies eat people.
Heck yeah. You know, whenever you have a really cool holiday, the best thing to do is do something totally unrelated to the holiday.
Yeah. Of
Which is what we're going to be doing this Saturday.
Yes.
Oh,
So we're very non-traditional.
Krampusnacht.
Yes.
And we're going to go see our friend Sebastian Knight, who is a wrestler with Right Coast Pro. It's an indie wrestling promotion here in Delaware. They do these shows in Newark, and we're going. We talked about it on the last show. Front row seats, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, because of the wonders of time travel, we're going to jump 2 days ahead right now and give you our review of the show that we saw a few days ago. Ready? Here we go. Whoa. Woo. I'm dizzy. Are you okay?
Yeah.
I've never time traveled before. So here we are, 2 days in the future. Well, actually, it's 3 days in the past. I don't know where we are, but we went to the Right Coast Pro wrestling show in Newark, Delaware, and this was the first time that Natalie and I had seen a live wrestling event.
That was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of
very
fun.
entertaining.
We were talking to our friend Sebastian Knight, and he was saying, well, it's not Lucha Underground, because he knows that we're huge fans of Lucha Underground. And we totally understand that this is a different kind of thing. Did you get what you were expecting?
I did not go in with any expectations.
I
don't
didn't
do that
either.
Yeah.
I didn't either. And then I was pleasantly surprised, though. It was really super cool. We can't even list all the matches. There was a bunch of them.
There were a lot.
Like
yeah.
6 or 7 or 8. I don't even know. It started out with this gigantic battle royale between like everybody. I can't even name all of the people that were in there. And also, too, we were coming into this with zero knowledge of who the wrestlers were. We didn't know anybody except Sebastian Knight. So we were learning about, you know, the stories that everybody had and the different conflicts and animosities and all that. We were just thrown right into the middle of it. So we're like, hey, that guy looks cool. Oh, no, wait, he's a jerk. Wait, everybody doesn't like that. Like Latin lover Chachi. I was like, this dude's awesome. Everybody's booing him. I'm like, hey, wait, hold on. What's going on here? Is there any particular wrestler that you were like, that person is really cool?
No.
No?
No, it was just so new to me. I mean, everyone just kind of sticks out. Everyone had a distinct personality.
They did a lot of work with that, with the different characters, I guess you would say. You know who I liked? The Heavyweights.
Oh, okay.
They were a tag team, and when they announced them, they said, you know, with a combined weight of 500 and some pounds, the Heavyweights. And these guys came out, combined weight, I'd say probably maybe about 250 at the most, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I made a joke. I said, when I looked at them, I said, I weigh more than them. You know, it was just really funny. So it was a cool gimmick.
What I liked about them too was that they were completely oblivious to the fact that they were like 1/3 the size of some of the guys they were facing.
Yeah, they don't care.
Yeah, they didn't care. They were like, we're doing it. It was awesome. It was very cool.
They had a really cool theme song too.
They did. What is that song?
It's from The Karate Kid.
You know where I think of? I think of South Park. They use that on South Park, I believe, once.
Oh,
too.
okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that was cool. There was Cheetah Master. Apparently, he's a big deal. He didn't wrestle, but so I don't know if he's like going toward retirement, but he was very popular. He was sort of emceeing a bit of it.
Right.
His nemesis was J.R. Ryder, and he had an unfortunate accident at the end of the show. He was wrestling the heavyweights, and ow!
Was it his ACL? His knee bent.
I'm not sure.
Really awkward.
Yeah. And the official Right Coast Pro photographer who was there taking shots of the whole evening, ooh, he got a unfortunate shot of his leg bending in a very awkward way.
Yeah.
Ouch. So actually, I read on their Facebook page that he's retiring. He's a really big guy.
He liked your hair.
You know, that's a funny thing. Apparently he's a heel, right? So he's like walking around the ring before he got in there, and people are, you know, jeering him and yelling stuff at him, and he's like, blah, 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 you know, saying stuff to people. And he points to me, and he says, that guy's got great hair. And everybody around us, there was a couple of little kids, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe he said that. Oh my God, what a mean guy.
Just the little kids.
And you too.
Me too. I thought he said something about you having gray hair. Gray hair. And so I just look and and Mike's like, you know, laughing.
I was like,
and he's
yeah,
cool.
thanks.
And I'm just like, who says that? Who says that? And I got all pissed off, ready to call him out.
Natalie
like,
down.
Culero. You know, but it's a family thing. And I'm like, well, I can't swear even though it's in Spanish, whatever. And the two girls next to me are just like, oh my God. So we thought he said gray hair.
No, it was great. It was great. And I'm sticking to that. Sitting next to me was a kid named Skylar. He was, I don't know, maybe around 10?
Maybe. I'm not sure how old he is.
Yeah, I don't know if he was a co-owner of Right Coast Pro or what, but he knew everything.
He did.
He kept me informed throughout the entire show. Every time someone would come out, he'd say, okay, now this guy, his name is Bazooka Joe, and he blah, 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 you know, like telling me everything, all the ins and outs. He was giving me the whole history of King Kalua, the pineapple guy.
The pineapple, yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, he lives in Florida, and he comes up for these events. I'm like, wow. I was not lost throughout the entire thing, thanks to Skylar.
What was cute, too, is that we were talking to him about Lucha Underground. We're like, yeah, we don't really watch anything but that. And then he asked you who your favorite wrestler was. And, of course, naturally you say...
Pentagon Jr.
And he gives you this look like say what? And he asked if he was a face or a heel. And I said, oh, he's a heel. And you were kind of like, well, I don't know. And I said, Mike, he breaks arms.
Yeah.
And Skylar looks and goes, what? And I go, not really.
Well, I don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah, you asked Vinny Massaro about that. You know what else was cool? That after the show, all of the wrestlers were out in the lobby. They all hung out and
talked to you, doing autographs.
It was very
nice.
cool. Yeah, I talked to several of them, and they were all really nice people.
And I'm a big jerk. I don't remember the wrestler's name that I talked to, but he was one of the Baldwin brothers, and he let me hold the belt because I'm looking at it, and I'm just, their championship belt. They're the tag team champions, Harry and Jerry Baldwin. And I'm like, that looks heavy. That's got to be pretty heavy. He's like, here, go ahead. And I'm like, wow, it is. And I think Sebastian Knight said it's probably about like 22 pounds or so. Mm-hmm. It's beautiful.
It was absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. Yeah. Sebastian actually had something to do with the design of it. Yeah.
Right.
But that was cool to hang out and talk to these guys one-on-one. They're going to be moving. They're moving to a bigger venue. So the next show on January 9th, 2016, is going to be at the Greater Newark Boys and Girls Club. Mm-hmm. They said it's a larger venue. They have like bleacher seating, and although I can't complain about the seats we had, we had
wonderful seats.
Front row. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was awesome.
Right next to the DJ.
That's true. What was his deal?
The DJ who brought his two beautiful assistants that ran away with some money.
Yeah, and that was money that was donated for the Josh Jones charity that they were doing that night. They wanted to kind of do some remodeling in his home. He had an unfortunate accident and is confined to a wheelchair for now. So they, were doing a great thing. And the dude takes off with the money. Yep. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. What a heel. But they had a 50-50 raffle. Mm-hmm. Who won?
Disco Dave's mom.
Disco Dave's mom. But you know what? She didn't keep the money, though. She put it back in, and they said she actually put
gave a little more. Yeah. And what also was cool was that Chris Steeler, the champion, did he not donate $500?
I believe so.
Yeah. So that was also uber cool.
Yeah. He was good.
He was.
That final match between him and
Latin Lover Chachi.
Yeah, that was a great match.
The tables.
They piled tables
out
up.
of control.
And then off the top, and they hit hard. And there was some blood.
There was. There was a ladder
injuries.
too, and some other stuff, chairs, and but
it was out of control.
Tables were ridiculous. Yeah.
So bottom line, I'm hooked. It was really cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to going again.
We're going to the next one.
Yes, we are.
You can check them out on Twitter. What is their Twitter?
At Right Coast Pro, one word.
Right, and they're on Facebook. Just look up Right Coast Pro.
And their website also, www.rightcoastpro.com.
And once again, a huge thank you to Sebastian Knight for pointing us in the direction of RCP and for getting us those sweet front row seats. We had a fantastic time. We're going back.
And I also came back with a souvenir from Sebastian Knight. A Santa hat with the word naughty written on it, and on the back, nice is crossed out. How appropriate. Thank you.
All right. You ready to go? Yes. Ready to go back through time or forward or whatever?
Yeah, I like the ride. It's fun.
Okay, cool. Here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
So there you go. We had a great time. Mm-hmm. It was fantastic. And now, the main topic. You know what? We talked about this, before we sat down here. I hope we're on the same page. Because you floated the idea of, let's talk about places that we have been that has a history of being haunted or whatever. But then the more we talked about it, you started veering into the urban exploring thing.
Yeah.
Is that even the same thing? It's not, right?
It's not, but one or two of the places that I have listed have a history of the possibility of a haunt.
Now, what exactly is urban exploring?
Urban exploring is...
It's trespassing, right?
No, pretty much it. That's exactly what it is. No. Where you see a do not enter sign, you go through that door.
Yeah, it's basically just, exploring an abandoned building, locations. Normally ruins, that type of thing, and just... Yeah, checking it out.
Yeah. That's always fun to do, though.
Oh, dude.
It's really cool.
You don't know.
I've done it.
Yeah.
And didn't even know that I was doing it. Like when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, look, there's that old drive-in movie theater that's been closed down. Ooh. And just going through the stuff, and we weren't supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Did it anyhow.
I mean, as a kid, I went through a few abandoned homes, but caused trouble and fell through staircases. But that's about it. Nothing haunted going on.
Story time.
Well, I don't think she's giving us a story.
No, I'm going to stick to haunted places I've been to.
Well, what do you got?
Well, I have a couple places here. All these places are in New Jersey that I've been to. One of the places is a historical landmark in Paterson, New Jersey, called Lambert's Castle. It's right on Garrett Mountain. The guy who built it was a silk textile producer, and he built this castle in 1862 to mimic the castles in England. Beautiful place. He lived in it for a number of years. It says here it was built in 1892 as the home of Catherine Lambert, the owner of the prominent silk mill in the city of Paterson. It was constructed in the medieval revival architectural style. Mr. Lambert's dream was to build a home reminiscent of the castles in Great Britain that he remembered from his boyhood years. President William McKinley and Vice President Garrett Hobart visited the castle in 1898. The castle's now a museum, but for a while, as a matter of fact, I used to work right downwind of the castle. And it was an office building for a while. And there's a tower, there's a lookout tower on the mountain above it. So when you go up there, it's now part of the Passaic Natural Preserve up there. So now you can go up there. It's a museum. You can go through and see all the artwork from Paterson. And then you can walk up the mountain to the tower. And then you have this huge observation area that you can look out and see all the way to New York.
Oh, wow.
But when I was going there, the castle was in disarray. The tower itself had bars on it. It looked like people had gone in there and threw garbage in it.
Yeah.
It was closed down. There's a lake back there. It was just a phenomenal place. Haunted? Not sure. I've heard weird stories about it, but nothing's been corroborated when you look it up online. One of the nicest places I've been to, too.
Okay.
It's really cool.
What about you, Natalia?
All right, my first one is the Drake Hotel. It's in downtown Chicago. I've been there for a bunch of work events and afternoon tea, which your daughter went to.
Oh, it's the same place.
Yes, yeah, that's the same place.
She was just there a few weeks ago.
Lucky her. It's on the U.S. National Register of Historic Places. It's atop the Magnificent Mile, so it's really pretty, especially around, Christmas time. You see all the lights down Michigan Avenue. And it could also be seen from Oak Street Beach. Just a very nice beach. The reason it's said to be haunted, there's a story called The Woman in Red. And supposedly, she was at a New Year's Eve party in 1920, and that's when I believe the hotel was built, in 1920. Anyhow, she caught her husband canoodling with another woman, and she jumped to her death from the 10th floor window.
Why does this sound like American Horror Story?
Exactly. I know. A lot of it. But I don't know if they have vampire zombies hidden in the walls
There
and
might
stuff
be.
like that. We need to check this out.
We should.
So that's the only story about that. Like I've said, I've probably been there about like 5, 6, 7 times. And I actually stayed there. I stayed there a few times for a weekend. It's very, very nice. But I can't say that I experienced anything.
That would be my question. Yeah.
Nope, no experiences. But I was just there. That's all.
Yeah. I went to Alcatraz.
Oh, lucky you.
Yeah. Locked me up for 15 to 20. And no, I was there as a visitor. And, in the last few years with the proliferation of ghost shows and the whole paranormal exploration thing, everybody says, Alcatraz, you've got to go to Alcatraz, the haunted island of Alcatraz and the spirit of Al Capone. And I'm like, yeah, I got to check this out. So went out there. Beautiful place. Serene. Absolutely gorgeous. The island is completely landscaped with millions of beautiful flowers. And when you pull up on the ferry, you're met by seagulls and seabirds, and they're like, "Hi, welcome to the island." It's absolutely beautiful. The prison itself is very huge, very clean, very quiet. I could just sit down and read a book in the sunlight, and it was like,
wow,
it was incredible. It was so relaxing and so nice, and not once did I get any kind of creepy vibe at all.
Yeah,
none. It was funny because you look around at the tourists who are there, and you can tell like 85% of them are all like, "Yeah, I was watching Ghost Hunters the other night, and I got my EMF detector." Everybody's there like, "Yeah, we're gonna meet a ghost." I just found it to be a beautiful kind of national park sort of place. So, no vibe. Sorry.
Yeah, well, you know. That's why I kind of brought this up, because most of the places you go to that are haunted, you don't get that vibe. It's more historical. And you're like, wow, this is really nice. Look at this. Look at that.
Well, you know, for a lot of places, it's a great way to pull people in.
Sure.
To like, oh yeah, and by the way,
it's haunted.
This thing happened in this thing. Do you have any proof? No, but that's what they say. Okay, good enough. We're gonna, whatever. At places like Fort Delaware, it's got a history.
Yeah.
And a lot of people go out there hoping to see a ghost, but we know there's a lot of really crazy shit that goes on out there.
But
so
it's awesome.
that's legit.
Yeah,
So,
but also if you really go out there, just like you did at Alcatraz, and just go out there, it's a nice place.
Yeah.
Just to hang around.
Yeah.
You know, it's history. You're hanging around in history.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I went to college in Caldwell, New Jersey, which is literally a stone's throw away from Cedar Grove. And there was a place called Overbrook Sanatorium. And I'll read you what I have a little bit. It's a little bit of history from it. Overbrook was a central facet of Essex County historical throughout the 20th century. It also was a focal point of the area's local legends. The hospital was laid out at the bottom of a hill atop which sat the Mountain Sanatorium, a facility used at various times to treat tuberculosis patients, wayward children, and drug abusers.
You know, why not throw all those together in the same place?
Exactly.
Yeah.
These two facilities and the many abandoned buildings associated with them became Essex County's most legendary location, home to escaped lunatics, troubled ghosts, and roving gangs of it says here ne'er-do-wells. Okay. Basically, we called it the asylum. How I found out about it, I was just talking to a bunch of friends at college, and they said, "Oh, if you go over to this park, there's a road that has a do not enter sign on it. Just walk up that road, and you'll see the hospital."
Those signs, they might as well say, "Come on in."
Exactly.
that's the purpose they serve, it seems.
But, I went up there, discovered the buildings. My brother and I used to go up there with our paintball guns to protect ourselves. And we would explore the various buildings on the property. Now, the hospital, the sanatorium or the asylum area was still in operation when we were exploring the mountainside area. But there were about 5 or 6 buildings up there, and there were tunnels that connected the buildings. The buildings were falling apart. It was just plain fun to wander around, and the furniture was still in there. Paint was peeling, all that stuff. It's wild stuff, man. Really.
So when you're doing that, are you kind of creeping, and you're kind of watching out for people like, oh, we can't be seen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But we weren't the only ones up there. Yeah, it's kind of like you're trying to watch out for other bands of explorers. You never know who's wandering around there who might have decide, you know what?
With W's carved on their foreheads.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but really interesting. And you look at the history and everything else about the buildings and what they were, and then you start imagining and scaring yourself. I do remember one time we were there and it was getting dark. It was in the fall and it was about 4 o'clock, and it was a group of us. One of the buildings burnt down back in the early 80s. So that building, the only thing that was there was the foundation. And we're in the field kind of walking back to our car, and we hear like a moaning throughout the whole field. Just... Now, we don't know if it was the wind. We don't know if it was another group of people wandering around.
Okay.
But it was creepy. You have the old wheelchairs, like the wooden wheelchairs.
All that stuff was still there.
Yeah, it was outside. Jeez. It was wild stuff, man. But that was Overbrook, and now Overbrook has been torn down, and it's been made into a park. The main hospital down bottom of the hill is gone. They've made the mountain area part of a park and a community of condos. So there's no more exploration, unfortunately. Did you ever see that movie Copland with Sylvester Stallone?
I saw some of it.
Okay, the 2 towers, water towers that you see, that is Overbrook.
Oh,
cool.
So that's that.
All right, another hotel, Congress Plaza Hotel. It's right across the street from Grant Park in downtown Chicago on Michigan Avenue. This one has more of a haunted history than the Drake. This was built in 1893, and it was built to accommodate the World Fair Columbian Exposition visitors. You guys know what that is?
No.
You weren't there, huh? Okay, fine.
Hey.
So, All right, some of the stories. In 1930, a mother and her 2 sons jumped out of a window, and one of her sons is said to haunt the 12th floor. People do see, see a little boy. Employees claim that unplugged kitchen appliances turn themselves on. And they also say that ones that are plugged in turn themselves on and off. So I don't know what's up with the kitchen there. There's one of the banquet halls. It's called the Florentine Room. Is said to have a female ghost that whispers in your ear. And there's actual security guards that refuse to go in that room. So that's pretty cool. Also, sometimes whatever room they have a piano in, you'll hear the piano, but nobody's there. Nobody's playing it.
Wow.
And there's a room, 441. I think right now it's not accessible. The tower that it's in, no one's in it right now, but it used to have the most security calls to that room.
Oh.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it's still open or not, but the reports would be that they would see a dark shadow in the shape of a woman. So
that's weird. Like how do these legends, I guess you could call them, how do they continue on? And no one ever really gets to the bottom of it, but people keep reporting the same thing. I wonder if it has to do with people going in with preconceived notions about other stories that they've heard in the past, and then they're almost looking for something, similar. Because we've done that on investigations where you hear all about what happened there, and you go in rather than clean slate. You're already looking for very specific things, and it almost, I don't know, sometimes you can imagine stuff.
Yeah. And again, I never stayed the night there. I didn't actually stay there at the hotel, but I was there for a couple of business dinners, swanky events. And I didn't have any experiences there, but another
Did you
rumor.
drink a lot?
Of course I did.
Okay.
That goes without saying. And the other rumor is that Al Capone hung out there and hid out there from time to time. So that's kind of cool.
There's a lot of stories about Capone. As far as hauntings and stuff. I mean, even Alcatraz.
Well,
he didn't die at Alcatraz, but they're like, well, his ghost is here.
Well, he claimed that he was being visited
Correct,
by the ghost of someone that he had killed. That person was haunting him.
Yeah.
So that's pretty neat.
You know what? Speaking of Alcatraz, I'll jump back to that for a second. There was one cell that is purported to be haunted. I went into that cell. It was sort of a solitary confinement sort of cell. And, everybody stands outside looking at it going, you go in. No, you go in. No, you go in because it's haunted and something might get you. Well, I went in. I got a weird feeling when I went in there. But you know what it was? I think it has to do with, I'm not sure the proper scientific terms, but my equilibrium felt kind of weird. And I think it had to do with the dimensions of the cell and the fact that it sort of felt like a natural vacuum in a way, because the acoustics are different when you get in there. It was small. I think it was probably maybe about 8 feet square, something like that. So when you get in there, your hearing gets different. It's almost like having clamshells under your ears or something like that, Like it gets weird. The floor felt maybe a little bit not level, which maybe heightens the feeling of, oh, something's off in here. I don't think there was anything. There wasn't any weird energy. It was just, you lock yourself up into a little metal 8-foot square room.
Yeah.
It's going to feel weird.
Do you think it was constructed on purpose like that?
No.
No, you don't think that they constructed it that way to make the prisoner feel off? That way, then he would probably not act up and not want to go back in there, just with that whole feeling of the floor not being level properly, the acoustics. And
it's an interesting theory, but I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think they were thinking that. Yeah.
I would do that.
You're a genius.
I would make the doors kind of off and kind of uncomfortable looking, and the floor sloped down.
The Winchester Mystery House.
Yeah.
Right.
What it's called.
Yeah.
Another place that I've been that actually has a haunted history, and we've talked about this, so I'm not going to go into it. On a previous episode, I mentioned the island of Corregidor in the Philippines. That has a haunted history, and it's like a national park now. It's like a historic site, so there's nobody wandering around or doing any urban exploring, but many, many, many people, I'm not sure, probably thousands of people died on that island during World War II. So super creepy, but I'm not gonna go into that.
You've been all over the place. That's why I kind of brought this up, because I know that you have a lot more worldly.
A little.
Yeah.
A little.
He's like, a little.
I just got lucky, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the last place that I've been to, and again, my brother and I used to go here. My brother and I used to do a ton of urban exploring, but this place is called Fort Hancock. It's right on Sandy Hook in New Jersey. It's a decommissioned fort. I'll read you a little bit here. It defended it was a coastal artillery base that defended the Atlantic coast and the entrance to New York Harbor. Between 1874 and 1919, Fort Hancock was operated in conjunction with the U.S. Army's Sandy Hook Proving Ground. It's now part of the Fort Hancock Memorial Park. Lighthouses, I'm a big fan of lighthouses. I love them. Mm-hmm. And this place just happens to have one of the oldest working lighthouses in the United States. Mm. And it's located on the grounds of Fort Hancock, of course. It was decommissioned in 1974 and is now a park. Mm-hmm. All right. Hauntings, a lot of people have said that they've seen soldiers wandering around, right, and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But again, nothing's corroborated. You go in there and you ask them, hey, is the place haunted? They don't want to talk about mm-hmm. it. Yeah. My brother and I decided to take a little jaunt in one of the batteries, and we found an opening, and the battery goes underground, and I'm not a fan of things being out of place. When we walked in here, we had a video camera with us. Unfortunately, we didn't have night vision, mm-hmm. so all you see is darkness and hear us talking. But we're wandering around, and there were desks. The way it was constructed was a rounded roof underground, and ventilation all over the place. Dark, and you see tracks in the ceiling. Mm-hmm. Apparently those tracks were used to bring the artillery to the guns. Mm-hmm. Most of the tracks were kind of fallen, broken. Most of the ventilation was hanging, and you could see, like, I don't know, what looked like cloth hanging from the mm-hmm. ceiling as well. Creepy. Really, really creepy. I was surprised I actually went through this place because I am not a fan of doing that.
There's probably a lot of spiders in there, too.
Yeah. It was cold. Oh. It was really cold. But it was fun, and it was just another experience that I had, wandering around a supposed haunted, mm-hmm. But historical landmark. Mm-hmm. And I say supposed because you hear those stories from the public. Oh, yeah, I saw. Yeah. And I did. Oh, look, over there.
It's the same thing with Gettysburg and a lot of battlefields. People always are saying, oh, yeah, you see soldiers marching, and I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know.
You get an uneasy feeling, at least in the battlefield, because of this history, knowing.
You know what? That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you think about it and you're in the proper frame of mind and you have the right kind of reverence, mm-hmm. you can feel compassion for what went on. But I've been to Gettysburg a few times. I never felt any kind of spiritual thing out on the, not spiritual, paranormal, supernatural, whatever. Right. Never felt anything like that out there on the battlefields.
Every place I've gone, I've really never had that weird feeling of a paranormal. I've always had a creepy feeling just knowing the history. Mm-hmm. Or being in an old location, but I've never had that feeling of, oh, this place is haunted.
Yeah,
I have one more.
Ooh.
Okay, this one is called. Ooh. This place is called the.
You. Don't. That's my impression of Dr. Smith from Lost in Space.
Oh, Dr. Smith.
Yoo-hoo.
Okay, this place is called the Paulding Light. It's in Blue Crossing, Michigan, and as other people will call it the Mystery Light. Sightings of this light started being seen in the 1960s. So, we were out in Wisconsin. We used to have a place in Sainer, Wisconsin. This was my dad's idea. It wasn't mine. There's nothing but mosquitoes, and there's nothing to do. There's absolutely nothing to do. It's crazy. It's up in the Northwoods. We had friends that had a place in, I believe it was St. Germain, and other friends in Eagle River, and they were like, we were at some fair. I can't remember what the name of it was. We were at some fair, and I think all the parents were drinking, and they were just all like, yeah, let's go drive up to the upper UP of Michigan, and there's this mystery light and stuff. Mm-hmm. And, I was with a bunch of kids, too, kids that I grew up with, and we were like, yeah, sure, let's go. It was about an hour and a half drive from where we were. So we went up there. And you go down this road, and it's kind of like a gravelly road from what I remember. I was probably about like 4th or 5th grade. On both sides of the road, it's just tall trees. You're in the forest. Mm-hmm. And we were told to look on the right side above the tree line, and there's supposed to be this light. And sure enough, this light kept appearing.
Really?
It was bright white. It kind of reminded me of a star or a planet because it seemed to move the tiniest bit, but maybe because, of gases, the atmosphere and stuff.
Oh,
But
okay.
it would appear, disappear, come back, and once in a while there was a bit of a reddish tint to it, a bit of a bluish tint to it. So I don't know if I'm seeing the same thing as everybody else, but it would just come and go, and we were there for maybe like, an hour and a half, something like
now,
that.
that's out in the middle of nowhere, right?
Pretty much. I don't know anything about Blue Crossing. I mean, we went there, and it's probably about like 11 o'clock at night. So I'm not really seeing anything around. Okay, so in 2010, students from Michigan Tech conducted experiments using a telescope, and various paranormal groups went out there. And people were saying, oh, is it aliens? Is it a signal? Is it a railroad worker that lost his head and is looking for it with his lantern? You know what I mean? There's all these urban legends connected with it. So anyhow, these students go out there and they were able to conduct some experiments using a telescope, and they saw stationary objects. They saw a highway sign. And they're basically looking at, it's called Highway 45. That's where this is taking place. And they were able to see vehicles driving by. So they also recreated the light by driving a car through that specific location.
Oh,
so
wow.
Yeah, science.
So
Science.
What was it?
Well, okay. They theorized...
Some sort of a reflection or something?
No, not at all. They theorized that an inversion layer... And I tried to look up what an inversion layer was. It has to do with weather and temperature, and it does something to the atmosphere. And because of a constant inversion layer, it made lights visible from up to 4.5 miles away.
Oh,
so you can see traffic going back and forth. And that the red lights could possibly be taillights, and the blue lights could be emergency vehicles.
Oh, wow.
Holy
But you'll
cow.
still have people that swear up and down
Yeah.
that it's haunted, that it's
Yeah.
not natural. So, but whatever.
Wow.
It was fun. It was fun to believe as a kid.
So it wasn't Zeus in a flaming chariot or
No.
aliens from Tatooine or something?
No, I guess not.
Okay. Damn. I was going to say let's make a trip, but not now.
No, forget it now. It's bunk. Question everything. Okay, our first question comes from Eric C. Dryden in Creston, North Carolina.
Yes.
His question is, do you use an EMF meter? They, TV people, always say that they are getting a baseline reading on the EMF meter. How can you get a true baseline reading without knowing what is running or might be running after a baseline is established?
Ah, good question. And the answer is
Yes.
we figure out what's running and what's not running first.
Yeah, we do all of that before. I mean, when we even look at the place before the investigation, we can take readings at that point, temperature,
Right.
see what's around, yeah.
Yeah, if at all possible, we have the place shut off the power. But yes, we do go around and thoroughly examine every room to look for any kind of electrical equipment that's running. If you guys don't know what an EMF detector is, basically it's just a little handheld meter where we're looking for electromagnetic fields, which are put out by things like, computers or lights, all kinds of electronic things emit these electromagnetic waves, and the meter will pick up on those and let you know if you're close to something like that. The theory is that perhaps paranormal entities are composed of EMFs or have some kind of electric field around them, which will make the meters we use spike. If it comes over and walks up to us, we'll get a reading. Oh, look, it's spiking. And, so yes, we go in and we check the entire place. We, hold the meters over all the walls, the floors, the ceilings. Right. We look for all of the spikes that we get throughout the place. And if you're going to do a paranormal investigation right, you're not going to walk in and just believe everything you see. So when we do get spikes, for us, Haunt Squad, we say, hey, I just got a spike. And then everybody starts looking around to see what naturally could have set it off. Oh, there was a humidifier in the basement that was still plugged in and it just kicked on. Ah, there you go. Right. We don't go, hey, it's a ghost. Yeah, and also, too, we have to explore the entire outside of the house, look at power lines and, generators or junction boxes that might be around, circuit breaker boxes, all of that stuff. It's not just within the house, but outside. We recently did an investigation of the Village Graphics building in Camden.
Right.
And the EMF was off the charts everywhere in the building, and the power was off. You know why?
Why?
Why we got such high EMFs? Because the place was completely filled with paranormal entities and spirits. No, it was about 10 feet from the main intersection of the town with the stoplights and all of that, and all of the power lines going back and forth over and around the building and stuff. That's what it was. So there you go. What else do we have?
All right, our second question. This is a fun one. This is from Brian Recker in Newcastle, Delaware. He says, let's call this question Dinner for 5. Each of you can have dinner with any 4 people, famous, non-famous, alive, or dead. Who would they be?
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. Who wants to go first?
I don't care. I'll go.
Okay.
All right. Michio Kaku.
Who's that?
He is the professor of theoretical physics. He's written 8 books. He co-founded the string field theory. He's a brilliant, brilliant man, and he has all these crazy theories about different life forms, multiverses, parallel universes, all the different types of civilizations, evolution and things. It's
smart guy.
Extremely, extremely intelligent man.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I would love to pick his brain. So he's my first.
He's one.
Number 2 would be Kelly Link. She is a writer and author of short stories. She's also an editor. She's won a Hugo Award, 3 Nebula Awards, and a World Fantasy Award. Her stories, they're just like, I don't know, full of magic, kind of surreal fantasy mystery. They can be very strange, but I just really admire her imagination and creativity. So I don't know if you want to check out her books. Stranger Things Happen, Magic for Beginners, and I don't know if it's called Pretty
I've heard of
Creatures.
that.
Yeah, I have them all.
Okay.
They're really cool. They're bizarre. So I'd like to talk to her.
Smart woman.
Smart woman.
I see
of course.
a trend.
Okay. My next one, my third one would be Natalie Wood. First of all, she's my namesake. So that's one of the reasons. Well, no,
you were
not
named
really.
after Natalie Wood?
I was. My mom liked her. She liked the name. And it also was kind of cool because I was supposed to be born closer to Christmas. And that it's Latin for child born on Christmas Day.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But I decided to come out later. I was supposed to be born in 76. I was born in 77. I waited a little. So
You're such a troublemaker.
I was comfortable, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Anything to cause trouble. And it started in the womb. So, you know what? I want to know what really happened to her.
Oh.
You know, there's so many questions.
You mean how she died? Yeah.
Yeah. So in 81, you know, her drowning was considered accidental. Mm-hmm. And she was on a yacht with Christopher Walken and Robert Wagner. Mm-hmm. But in 2010 or 11, maybe it's 11, the case was reopened and her drowning was considered a drowning and other undetermined factors. So something changed there. I don't know what. I wasn't following what was going on.
The fact that they reopened the case is very interesting.
Right. So, I mean, and Christopher Walken and Robert Wagner are still around.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. But I would ask her. I'd want to know what really happened because
You'd
it irked
think
me.
that someone would talk by now. Wait, that was more Shatner than... Sorry.
I guess. All right, and my fourth is Lester Joseph Gillis, a.k.a. Babyface Nelson.
Oh, wow. Smart guy? Oh, no.
Well,
Sorry.
you know what? I don't know. I mean, he lived a pretty full life. He started off... God, he was born in Chicago, and by the age of 14, he was an accomplished car thief.
Oh.
And then he became a bank robber, in the 1920s.
Natural progression.
Oh, man, he was on his way to, I believe, Joliet prison, and he escaped. And he was a fugitive. And he was all over the place, Nevada, California, Indiana. And eventually he ended up back in Chicago working with John Dillinger.
Oh.
Public Enemy #1.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and he died in 1934 in the Battle of Barrington. He was being chased by 2 FBI agents, and Barrington is just a suburb of Chicago. Ended up out there. It was a very short but bloody gun battle.
Blaze of glory.
And both of the FBI agents perished, and he did too. Babyface Nelson did too, but not till later. He succumbed to his injuries later, and he died at the age of 25. At 25, he did all of that in 25 years.
Wow.
I mean, I skimmed over everything, all the stuff he did. I mean, I had to, but that's a really crazy full life, and I just, not that I glorify that lifestyle by any means, just like to know what was going through his head. I mean, to be wanted and to constantly be on the run.
Looking over his shoulder.
Yeah, and it seemed like his wife...
Wait, he got married?
He was married.
Oh, my God.
I don't know her name.
Had 7 kids.
I don't know if he had any children. I really don't know that. But she was by his side. You know, she supported him. So
Sure.
The money must have been good, I'm sure.
probably, yeah. So that's it.
All the travel, exotic locations. Heck yeah. I'm sorry.
All right, who's next?
Okay, here's my list. I'm going to go. These are the 4 people I would like to sit down and have dinner with. Adolf Hitler, Osama bin Laden, Donald Trump, and Pentagon Jr.
Next.
Think about it.
Well, Pentagon Jr. is an awesome choice.
Yeah. I just want to see him in the same room with the other 3 and see what goes down.
Oh, he'd break all their arms.
Hell yeah,
He'd
you
break
would.
all their lives.
Okay, no, I'm just kidding. You know what? When I read this question and I started thinking about who I wanted to sit down with, you know, a lot of people came to mind, like people that I'm a fan of, and I thought about their actual characters, you know, who they are as people.
Right.
And I thought, you know what? I wouldn't want to sit down and have dinner with them because they're jerks or they're dicks or whatever. You know what I mean? I mean, there's a lot of people who, wow, they're a really cool person, but after like 10 minutes, you'd be saying, when is this over? I want to get out of here. You know? So I thought, who could I sit down with that I sort of idolize?
Well, my name better be in there.
It's not.
Oh, crap.
Neither am I.
But who would I have a good time with? Mm-hmm. So here's my list. First one, Sir Peter Cushing. You know?
Ah, yeah.
Peter Cushing was a great guy. He was a great guy. Everybody loved him. I loved his movies. I would love to talk to him about his career and his views on film and horror and acting and just hear what it's like, you know, what it was like to be working for Hammer Studios back at their height. Because I'm a huge Hammer fan, of course. So had to throw Peter Cushing in there. Next, sitting next to him would be Bill Murray. You know? Mm-hmm. Why the hell not? You want to have a good time, you invite Bill Murray. In fact, a lot of people want to have a good time, and they don't invite Bill Murray, and he still shows up.
Oh, yeah.
He's always like crashing weddings and stuff. So, fun guy, right? Mm-hmm. Sitting next to him, across the table, actually, from him, would be Bruce Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
You know, incredible martial artist, great actor, very smart guy, director, philosopher, incredible dude, right? I mean, we don't even have to talk about it. We all know Bruce Lee was awesome.
Yeah.
He would be great. And the 4th, Charles Nelson Riley. Oh!
He would be fun to party with.
Hell yeah, he would.
Yeah.
Of course he would. Oh my God. Can you imagine that? So there you go.
Wow.
My fun night.
Charles Nelson Riley is funny. That's great.
You see, you took more of the party aspect, and I
Yes.
took more of the, you know,
The intellectual.
rainy
thing.
conversations.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay. Vinny!
Mine is all over the place, let me tell you.
Okay.
Okay, the first person that I would have sitting next to me would be Kevin Smith. Not because
right.
the director and star of all those weird Kevin Smith movies. Mm-hmm. Not because of his intellect, but more because of his storytelling ability. Mm-hmm. I've listened to a number of his podcasts, and he just can tell a great story.
Okay.
And I just love him. Love the stories. Love his comic book fandom. He's crazy in love with Batman. So that's all he talks about. And he wrote movies and scripts for. There was a script he wrote for the defunct Superman Returns movie that was supposed to be done.
Oh, really?
Back in the 90s. Mm-hmm. He wrote a script for that. He was involved in that.
Is that the Nicolas Cage one?
Correct. Yeah, there's actually a documentary on Showtime about that. It's very, very interesting. Anyway, yeah, I would have him sit next to me and just kind of shooting the shit with Kevin Smith. Mm-hmm. The next person that I would shoot the shit with would be Neil deGrasse Tyson. Another person, the study of the cosmos. He's the president of the Hayden Planetarium up in New York. just a really interesting guy. I saw him on the TV show Cosmos. It was a revamp version from back in the early 80s.
Smart dude?
No. And he also does a great podcast as well, which I listen to. So very interesting.
Know that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, cool. Very interesting guy. Next, I don't know how to say the guy's last name. Maybe you can help me with this. Drew Struzan. He did the artwork for many posters that you guys have probably seen. Indiana Jones, Star Wars, E.T., any poster that pretty much is hanging up in a movie theater.
I know the artist, but I don't know how to say his name.
How do you spell his last name?
Struzan. Struzan.
I'd probably just say it like that.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
I would just like to sit down and talk to him about his style. I just enjoy his artwork. It's just phenomenal stuff. I have a book based on it, and all I do is just when I just have a day where I'm just doing nothing, I just skim through that book. It's thick. And I just love looking at the detail in his artwork.
It's very colorful too.
Yeah, yeah. The Back to the Future posters were phenomenal. Yep. Just love it. The next person is more of a personal guy. This guy here, he was my grandfather. He died back in '88. And he's one of those guys that I'd like to sit down with him again just to discuss life. My grandmother saw my kids, so she met her great-grandchildren. And unfortunately, my grandfather died of an aneurysm. And it was really tough for the whole family to go through. So I'd like to have him back, just to have him for dinner. And just chill out with him and say, hey, listen, this is what I'm doing now. What do you think? And see what he says. Those are the people.
You know, I think about my own grandfather, and I wish I could talk to him now, at my age now, knowing what I know now.
Exactly.
And I can, much more greatly appreciate older people because, he passed away when I was a teenager, and I was a teenager. Like, oh, well, The Empire Strikes Back is coming out. That's more important. You know?
Right.
When I could have gone to his house and hung out and said, man, tell me about some stuff.
Exactly.
I wish I could do that now.
My father used to tell me stories about some of the stuff he used to do, and it's just like, Grandpa did that.
Yeah.
Oh. So, yeah, those are the people. I mean, honorable mention would be my father 20 years ago. Unfortunately,
that's interesting.
Yeah, my father has Parkinson's now, and he's not the man he was 20 years ago. And if I was able to go back in time this age, I would really like to get a recording of him, a video of him, and him telling stories of his past, of his life. Unfortunately, I didn't do that 20 years ago, so that's where I stand. Yeah. But yep, that's it.
Good.
Well, and you know what? If this was dinner for 6, I think we could easily interject into each of your dinner parties. Charles Nelson Riley.
Charles Nelson Riley.
He'll be at all of ours.
All right.
That wraps it up for this week. Right. We hit everything, didn't we?
I think so.
Wait, check the list. Yeah. There's probably 10 things on there we forgot to get to, like always. Well, you know what? Next week, you know what our topic's going to be?
No, what?
The greatest animated movies of all time.
Oh, boy.
Or maybe not. I don't know. We'll see.
All right.
See you guys next week.
Take care.
Stay spooky.
B-A-N-A-N-A. Today, little bananas, I'm going to teach you how to draw and color with Bic Banana Ink crayons. These are Bic Banana Ink crayons. See what smooth lines the Bic Banana Ink crayons make. They also make fat lines. See what bright colors Bic Banana Ink crayons make. So, little bananas, there's lots you can learn about coloring and drawing with Bic Banana Ink crayons at school. After all, I should know. I am the Big Banana.
There's only one Bic Banana Ink crayon available wherever school supplies are sold.